morning and welcome to Cityline. We are zooming from my kitchen. It is a beautiful summer day and we have a great hour ahead of us. Later on, we'll be talking with the Port of Tacoma. Commissioner McCarthy and Executive Director Eric Johnson are here to talk about their strategic plan, open house. And then Tacoma parking services do resume. So Eric Hoosby will be here to talk about the parking services and the changes they've made. And then our Tacoma Poet Laureate, Abby Murray, will join us to share a couple of her poems and to talk about how she has continued to give back to our city during the pandemic. The Humane Society will be here with our Pet of the Week. And with me right now, I have the honor and the privilege of interviewing and introducing to you our 2020 Greater Tacoma Peace Prize laureate, Ms. Marilyn Kimmerling, direct from her front porch. Good morning, Marilyn.
Good morning. That's a beautiful tapestry in your kitchen. Thank you for inviting me to speak.
Oh, it's just so wonderful to have you here. So I want to give our audience a little bit of background before we get into the reason why you do what you do. And that is that the Greater Tacoma Peace Prize was inspired by the Nobel Peace Prize that was founded in 2005 to honor local peacemakers like yourself. We have featured in the past recipients that include Melanie Denise Cunningham and Willie Stewart. So you are in fabulous company, my dear. Your work was selected in May, but your advocacy work, Marilyn, for minority rights, human rights, and climate justice, it goes back 3 decades. That is so impressive. Can you talk a little bit about that work and what motivates you?
Well, I'll try. It's a lot to talk about in a little time. I guess what motivates me is feeling like I need to be part of the solution instead of the problem. Right now, we're extremely aware of the problems that we face, but 3 decades ago, there wasn't as much awareness as there is today. And I felt that I had an obligation to my community as a human being, to my children and other people's children, to try to be part of the solution. And I guess I first got started picketing the smelter way back when Asarco was here, or even further back, because I was raised just outside of Washington, D.C. in Bethesda, Maryland, being part of the counter-inaugural march against Nixon. So I guess I do go back quite a ways.
You do.
So in terms of climate justice right now, it seems like unless we get a grip on what's happening with climate change, all of the other problems that we look at and we try to solve are contingent on that. Climate justice encompasses economic justice. It encompasses minority justice. Here in Tacoma, with the LNG facility, that's one piece of what we're looking at. Sure, many of us, and I'm one of those people, have fought against the LNG facility going in. But because of the danger to Tacoma residents and because it infringes on indigenous rights and treaty rights. But the larger picture for that is it's another fossil fuel that we're developing, and we can't continue on with that. Without a livable planet, nothing else matters.
Oh, so beautifully said. You just encapsulated all of your reason for being in about 3 minutes. That's fabulous. Marilyn, I want to take you back for a second. You were one of the major organizers for United for Peace of Pierce County. What was the goal there?
The goal there was to promote peaceful solutions to conflicts. I spent about 30 years as a mental health counselor for children and families with comprehensive mental health. And if we promote nonviolent solutions in families, how can we not promote nonviolent solutions nationally and internationally? And another group that I do belong to is Veterans for Peace. I'm not a veteran, I'm an associate member. But if anybody is going to get listened to, it's going to be the veterans. Now, United for Peace of Pierce County is currently inactive, but Veterans for Peace is very much active. And we are doing what we can. As a matter of fact, there was a wonderful conference last summer in Spokane. It was the International Conference of Veterans for Peace. There were veterans members from Guam, from Japan, from all over the world that gathered in Spokane, and it was so inspiring and so informative. So yes, we stay active with that.
Yes, you do. And then you also have a role in Radio Tacoma.
Yes. Hey, listener, it's 101.9 FM, low-powered radio, community radio. It only has a range of about 3 miles, and that's KTAH for Tahoma. But you can get it online or on Facebook. Either one of those, you can go on to radiotacoma.org and listen live and listen to our archives, or you can go on Facebook and link to Listen Live. And that is a little dinky radio station. I happen to be president of it. 5.5 or 6 years ago, a few of us heard that the FCC was releasing the last spots on the radio dial for low-powered FM community radio with a mandate for education. We had to be educational. And we wanted to get together. That's we. There's Louisa Beale and Carrie Griffiths and Pam Beale. And there's Julio. Why am I spacing on his name?
Juan?
Yes. Thank you. I'm getting a little, the Yiddish word is fachimmelt. So we decided that we wanted to bring radio to Tacoma, and that was just about the same time that 88.5 was in jeopardy. So a lot of the attention went naturally to 88.5 to try to save that, but we wanted true local radio. And so we are on the dial and you can listen to us. And here's a shout out, because we really want the community to get involved and we want to reflect community voice. So if you have poetry that you've written, if you have stories to tell, if you have your own original music, if you have interviews that you want to do, please contact us at radiotacoma.org and we will try to get you on the air. We also offer some classes in how to produce radio and how to edit and how to interview. So that's the story on Radio Tacoma, 101.9 KTAH, radiotacoma.org.
Oh, that is fabulous. You know, we could end the interview here and most people would say, oh my gosh, that's more than enough in a lifetime. But I want to go further and talk about something called Raging Grannies. The name.
All right. So unfortunately with COVID, we have not been getting together to do any events. But Raging Grannies was originally started by a group of women in British Columbia to, well, let me give you a little bit of the background. Everybody's got a grandmother, and most grandmothers are seen as non-threatening. When somebody needs to bring up an issue that is controversial, if they're preachy or scoldy about it, people tend to tune them out. But grandmothers can kind of get through that. And especially if grandmothers do it with grace and humor. So it's women of a certain age who get together and take familiar tunes and write their own words to educate and bring attention to issues. And they are now worldwide. And we have our own branch in Tacoma, Washington. You do not have to be a biological parent or a grandparent. All you have to be is a woman of a certain age. You do not have to sound good when you sing. Because as bad as we sound, we encourage people to sing along in simple self-defense. So we have gotten together to sing about LNG at different events. We've gone down to the Northwest Detention Center because immigration is a huge issue and detention is a huge issue. We have sung at city council meetings to get our message across. We sing invited or uninvited, and that's the way we roll.
That is impressive. And I love how you said a woman of a certain age, because it's that saying of you don't ask past a certain age. So
right.
I love that you coined that.
Oh, I didn't coin it. It's kind of an old-fashioned term.
It is. It's very old-fashioned.
Yeah.
Marilyn, as the recipient of the Tacoma Award, you are honored at a Laureate recognition banquet in the fall. And then...
Nope. It had to be canceled this year.
Right. So I'm getting to that. Just 1 second.
Oh.
And that's in normal times. And then in normal times, there would be a trip to Norway. I remember when I had Melanie Denise Cunningham on, we talked about her trip. So how is that being accomplished during COVID-19?
Well, we really don't know yet. I went ahead and sent my passport out for renewal in high hopes. And if it doesn't actually happen this winter, and the date that's crucial is December 10th, because that's when the Laureate event happens for the Nobel Peace Prize laureates in Oslo. But if it doesn't happen, I've talked with the committee and they said that they would send me next year. So I would go with the 2020 winner and the 2021 winner, and we go together, which sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
Oh, doesn't it though? I think that's fantastic. In these last 2 minutes that we have, Marilyn, together, is there a cause that you are passionate about, that's close to your heart, that you have not spent enough time on?
It's common knowledge now. It's being talked about now, but everything is connected. And my passion about immigrant rights, children's rights, peace work, climate work, community building, it's all related. And I feel like so many people in Tacoma, especially now with COVID and Black Lives Matter, all of those things, we're all doing the work. It's an honor that I was selected, but that doesn't mean that I'm doing more than any other or a number of other or many other people are doing in Tacoma. I feel like this honor I'm carrying forward for so many people that are doing the work. And I'm just honored to be able to say that for other people. And I know that next year, the prize will probably go for people doing so much work to feed people and take care of people during COVID, people who are doing work with the food distribution, people who are doing work for the homeless, people who are advocating on behalf of people of color and Black lives. All of it matters, all of it's important, but without a living climate and planet, none of it can happen.
Well, Marilyn, I want to thank you so much for taking time to be with us today. And I want to also express my gratitude because we stand on your shoulders. So much of what you and your compatriots have done has set the stage for it does take a village in Tacoma. And you are such a beautiful example of living that truth, and that the opposite of poverty is not wealth. The opposite of poverty is justice. So I thank you so very much for being here today.
Thank you. And remember, the Irish say in terms of poverty, true poverty is being so poor you don't even have a song.
Oh my gosh. Well, we'll let the raging grannies take care of it.
Okay, thank you.